president told the prime minister again today that we share the goal of defeating Hamas, but we just believe you need a coherent and sustainable strategy to make that happen.
And that was National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan telling reporters about President Biden's call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Biden warned Netanyahu not to go into a major ground operation in Rafah, saying that it would be a mistake. You just heard Jack Keane talking about this as well. Israeli officials are now going to Washington in the next few days to discuss this and to discuss what the White House says is an alternative strategy to an Israeli ground invasion of Rafah. It does not appear that Netanyahu is looking at any alternatives to going into Rafah. Joining me right now is Florida Congressman Michael Waltz, a member of the House Foreign Affairs, Armed Services, and Oversight Committees. He's also a retired Green Beret himself. Congressman, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thanks, Maria.
Well, we just spoke to Jack Keane about this, about how Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and the Democrats have basically turned their back on Israel. And Chuck Schumer's speech on the floor the other day to say that Netanyahu was out of touch, he's no longer serving the needs of Israel, and there needs to be an election. To say all of that in the middle of literally Israel's fight for survival has gotten many people up in arms. Your reaction?
Well, I think it's politics at its worst, Maria. I mean, this is just shameful pandering to the political left. Many of us saw it coming, that first it would be the Europeans, and then it would be the political left in the United States, and eventually Biden would get weak-kneed in its support for Israel. And sadly, we're seeing all that play out as we head into an election year. But every decision you see this administration make between now and November is sadly going to be made through a political lens. And that's just the shameful reality of it.
And that's what Senator John Barrasso told me as well on Sunday, that the only reason Biden is making this big stink about everything and suddenly appears to be against Netanyahu and Israel is because he's worried about votes in Michigan, pro-Palestinian votes in Michigan, which is truly shameful.
Well, when you see over 100,000 people, essentially Biden has no primary, but yet 100,000 people after work in their busy lives make a point to go to the polls to vote uncommitted. I think that was a shock and a wake-up call of the Biden political operation. But that is not how we should be determining policy for our greatest ally. Biden should be setting red lines for Hamas. Not for a democratically elected Israeli government. And how about one of them should be you don't get $1 of additional aid until you release Americans that you're holding hostage. And there's at least 5 still left right now as we speak.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I haven't heard a peep out of the Hamas group or side about releasing hostages. And we're talking about ceasefires, and we're talking about not finishing the job, and there's no conversation about releasing the hostages. It's another good point. But wait, we've got to get to this because today is going to be a big day. Retired generals Mark Milley and Kenneth McKenzie testifying in front of your committee, the House Foreign Affairs Committee, on President Biden's botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. Last year, the Biden White House released a report, and it blamed former President Trump for the chaotic withdrawal, if you can believe that one, claiming that Biden was severely constrained by Trump's decision. Now, Congressman, you have been talking a lot about this for a year and a half since it happened. Your reaction to the Biden White House actually claiming that it's Trump's fault for this botched withdrawal, and what are you expecting to hear today?
Well, importantly, Maria, we're going to have a number of the Gold Star families from Abbey Gate at this hearing. They deserve answers. The American people deserve answers. The veterans that have been so scarred by how this shameful withdrawal happened deserve answers. And what I want to know is these 2 4-star generals, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the other McKenzie responsible for all Middle East operations, what did they advise into the president, and then what did he ignore in terms of those military advice? One of the things I expect to hear is that the State Department under Blinken waited way too long to order that withdrawal and to start getting American citizens, our allies, and the embassy personnel out, and put our military, including the 13 that died at Abbey Gate, in an impossible situation. The other piece is that Biden repeatedly said to George Stephanopoulos, the generals never told me that we should leave a small force behind. The generals never told me that we should leave Bagram Air Base, which is only a few hundred miles from China's western border, on top of being able to keep a lid on Afghanistan. My allies were perfectly fine with it. Well, the generals have since in various forums contradicted that, showed that Biden is lying about that. But today we will have them on the record in front of the American people. Everyone deserves answers on this.
Well, I remember when this all was taking place and Joe Biden wanted to give a press conference on September 11th about September 11th. He wanted to be able to say, we're out of Afghanistan. This war has gone on too long. It's now 20 years. We're out. And so that was one of his motivations, wasn't it? He wanted a press conference to be able to say it. So he botched the withdrawal and did it real fast.
Yeah, did it unconditionally. And then when it went horribly, tries to blame President Trump that his hands were tied by the Doha agreement, yet he had no problem walking away from border policy, canceling Keystone XL, getting us back into the Paris Agreement, walking away from Trump's Iran policy, the Abraham Accords that's turned into disaster. But yet we're going to believe his hands were tied here. It's a bunch of garbage.
Meanwhile, a group of Florida lawmakers are urging the president to use executive action against the incoming migrants from Haiti now, and allow the U.S. Navy to assist Florida in intercepting these Haiti migrants before they actually reach U.S. soil. This is just bad on top of worse. Florida Congressman Corey Mills announced the rescue of 13 more Americans stuck in Haiti. He says his team has rescued and evacuated more Americans than the Biden administration, Congressman. And Congressman Mills joined this program last week. Here's what he told me. Watch.
I got a call from Representative Lisa McClain, who had explained to me that her had constituents that were trapped in Haiti. They had called and reached out to the State Department asking for support, and the State Department essentially told them that we're in the midst of planning. What they didn't tell them is that they were in the midst of planning their own evacuation. The very next day, they evacuated themselves, and these individuals no longer had anyone that they could actually contact at the State Department. We had put our team together, went into a neighboring country, conducted our CONOP, which is our concept of operations, made contact, total time in, total time out. Was about 40 minutes. We did a makeshift HLZ, had everyone prepped, just documents, laptop bags, and was able to get everyone out successfully in one fell swoop.
Look at what a great job Corey Mills is doing. Look at what a great job you've done. I mean, you know, what is Joe Biden doing about all of this? And I know you're trying to bring legislation down to discuss how to stop migrants from coming into the border a couple of miles out. So your reaction to that, and also real quick on this legislation you're working on.
By legislation passed unanimously through committee, it would double the amount of territory that Customs and Border Patrol's maritime units, we have a 1,300-mile coastline in Florida, that their maritime units could go out and work with our Coast Guard. Look, Maria, our Coast Guard, our Customs and Border Patrol, even our military, they're ready to go, but they have to have the authorities. My legislation would do it, and they have to have the guidance from this White House that's been so lacking.
Will you get the guidance?
Well, we're certainly going to push from Congress, but we can't leave Americans behind as we did in Israel and as we did in Afghanistan. Enough is enough. This is a sad trend.
Right. Yeah, Congressman, thank you. We'll be watching your work. Michael Waltz joining us this morning. We appreciate it.